Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2, The Shadow and the Blade, where we are going to have to execute another ambush that should, I think, be pretty easy for us. It should turn out quite well, because I'm afraid that if we press auto-resolve, it's going to kill Bilefitch Stab's entire army, when, in theory, none of these units should take any damage at all, right? Provided we do this correctly. Let's go ahead and bring in some food, because we're going to lose all of our food at the beginning of our turn anyway. Just make sure that we approach this with some level of, what's the word I want here? Respect, I guess? Some level of respect for these dwarves. They are going to cause us some damage here. And, with Thorgrim Grudgebearer at their head, we're probably not going to see a lot of surrendering. But, that said, we do have an awfully big advantage over them, especially if we can instantly neutralize their siege weaponry. So, 14's fine. How do we want to do this? First of all, obviously, the Doomflayers are going to do some fine work over here. Probably we can have the Doomflayers just be on this side and have everybody else on the other side. Our Death Pit Abomination, what is the name of this unit? Did I get that right? Hell Pit Abomination. Our Hell Pit Abomination does have to be a little bit careful of the Giant Slayers. Giant Slayers, yeah, the ones way up here. Giant Slayers do an awful lot of damage against large things. So, I mean, obviously, their name kind of gives you the clue there. So we want to keep him pretty far back. Obviously, we want the Poisoned Wind Mortars. Like, they can be up on this hill pretty safely. In fact, they could be a heck of a lot further back than that, pretty safely. Because we do have to, be a little bit leery of the enemy getting into them. Obviously, they are not really ready for this kind of battle. The Rattling Guns we could post up here. That should be pretty clean shooting for them. And then we want to run a couple of the units of Storm Vermin on this side. We probably want to put a couple of the units of Storm Vermin on the other side. Again, just to keep the enemy from being able to fall back out of our reach. And then you guys here... Who else do we still have left? I guess we have a Warpfire Thrower team and some Globadiers that do not yet have roles. The Warpfire team... Boy, who do we want them to start on? I guess we want them to start on the Dwarf Warriors, like the normal Dwarf units. Yeah, so we'll direct these guys more like that way. And then we still haven't given positions to the Globadiers. The Globadiers can be behind the units on this side, because they can actually arc their projectiles over. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Deathmaster Snikch himself can probably just run up. I don't know if he... Let's have a look at their stats. I don't know if he's a match for Thorgrim. So he's got 89 attack, 65 defense with poison, versus 73 attack, 89 defense. So that doesn't bode super well. Our attack is the same as his, but his defense is... Our attack is the same as his defense, but his attack is higher than ours, which suggests that we're going to trade unfavorably, and he has almost twice as much health and considerably more armor. So we don't really want Snikch directly on him. We'll put Snikch back here. Yeah, just like somewhere. It kind of doesn't matter where. Just in the middle of the enemy units, the normal enemy units. We have reinforcements coming in. They're unlikely to be relevant. Let's make sure we get our basic orders fired in here. Let's collapse on these guys this way. We're going to not attempt to engage with the great weapon enemies. We're going to try to kill everything else as quickly as we can first. You probably want to just start on these dudes for the moment. And then, obviously, we have some pretty good charging going on here. I think I'm gonna have the Hell Pit Abomination pick up one of the siege units, but we're going to send an extra guy back towards Siege Town just to make sure that those guys go down. And then the Poisoned Wind Mortars, we probably want to be firing into kind of the middle of the enemy melee. We'll do like here and here so that those attacks spread out nicely. And I'm going to have 2 units of Rattling Guns, real hard focus on Thorgrim. I guess, actually, I'm going to have this unit of Storm Vermin maybe shift over a little bit. I didn't really think this through, but we should have somebody between those guys and the guns. So you aim a little bit more forward. Yeah, we already have somebody pressing those guys from one side. And you two just kind of shoot at whoever. Okay, I think those are reasonable orders. let's get ready to fire these abilities off when it makes sense to do so. Oh, I forgot to actually give him an attack order. That's the thing we should do. We're just going to get into the middle of the enemies and whirl our blades gently down the dwarves. Okay. Lots of good gunfire going on here. Do not allow any escape. Kind of looks like they're running forward to melee, which, you know, they might actually conceivably try. That might work out for them. I want to see those guys formally break. Alright. We need somebody over here. Thorgrim is still surviving, which is a real shame. You guys, I don't know, get over here. Just try to do something. Okay, looks like we've broken most of the enemy units pretty well here. Get on those guys. You guys attack here. Let's try to get some Doom Flayers involved in this area. Alright, looks like we've pretty much broken everything except Thorgrim, and most of it permanently. We got to be a little bit careful with our ranged units, obviously, because we have the ability to inflict an awful lot of friendly fire damage. All the Rattling guns in here. Let's get all the Doom Flayers in on the Giant Slayers. Let's try to finish them off. You guys should fall back. You guys should maybe also fall back. You can have Snikch try to get in on these guys. As soon as they're down, obviously the battle's over. We must have killed the other unit of Giant Slayers like very, very quickly. Can't believe they're still alive. Okay, there we go. Alright, good work everyone. Nice clean victory in utter defiance of the auto balance, or the balance of power bar. My guess is that all of these units are going to survive. We might lose these Stormies with halberds, but I think we're going to keep everybody. And that is pretty devastating for Mr. Thorgrim Grudgebearer. It does not necessarily put us in a great position on this front, because there's a lot of stuff going on this front. We have a lot of enemies coming in, but this definitely helps. This relieves a little bit of pressure. Unfortunately, Snikch's losses are such that we will not see this army regen to fall in a single turn. So, Gorgazon is in a little bit of danger here. Depending on how hard the enemy chooses to push it, we may find ourselves having difficulty keeping safe from a sustained assault. Definitely going to just take the free replenishment. Okay. Boy, we sure do get a lot of research rate bonuses now. You guys may as well run over there and finish the job. Yeah, I think so. I'm a little worried about that. Those guys are definitely close enough to actually do something. Well, let's get this. So I think we should be able to just take the auto-resolve here. I'm going to, forgive me, I'm going to quick save here, and if it kills my Storm Vermin, we're going to go back and do it manually. There's a lot of battles that we shouldn't have to fight manually, that we do have to, yep, like that. Because the game does completely insane things, like, even if we put that unit on the front line and had them, like, lead the charge, I still don't know that they would die. Honestly, there's not really a way for the dwarves to kill them. But the auto-resolver does math that is nonsensical. I'm just trying to use the auto-resolver to save us all a little bit of time here. Because, like, this battle's not going to be interesting to play out. We're just going to do the same thing that we did in that last battle, except I'm going to put the 2 units of Storm Vermin that are really wounded out to the side. I'm not saying, to be clear, I'm not saying that this is like an easy problem to solve. I'm not going to tell you that I could program an auto-resolver that would behave sensibly and would take into account the fact that, like, a player could choose to put injured units out to the side and whatever. Realistically, the only way it could do that is, first of all, to be a lot smarter than the AI is now, and I'm not saying that in a haha, their AI is bad way, but in a way that, like, this is a complicated issue. It would have to be smarter than a significant number of players, and also, all of the auto-resolves would have to actually be simulations of battles. There's probably no way to do it like on a mathematical level, a simple mathematical level, which would slow the game down a lot. Because part of the way that the game is able to run in a reasonable amount of time is that all of the AI combat is not actually happening, right? Okay, so we have very few enemy units that are actually capable of doing any damage at all. We got to make sure that we put melee into their quarrelers quickly, and we got to make sure we shoot Thorgrim with many, many guns, and that's pretty much the victory right there. The Hell Pit Abomination, still at full health, pretty great for us. The Doomflayers, still at full health, also pretty great for us. The horribly wounded units of Storm Vermin are going to go live over here in the corner for a while. You know what? You can do that too. So we have these guys ready to go in on the dwarves there. These guys ready to go in on the dwarves here. Snitch can kind of just be in the way. We have one unit of Eshin Triads who's probably there back here, just killing ranged, right? And then I don't even know if we want to use the Poison Wind Mortars. We're basically just going to shoot a lot of ranged units at the Dwarf King immediately. Okay, this will do. This is not a terribly complicated one. No, sorry, you guys attack there. The Hell Pit Abomination attacks here. Kill and kill and kill. You guys can get on the great weapons. You guys just do this. All of the gun units and the flamethrowers, and no, not the mortars. The mortars can fire into like the middle of the enemy. It's here. You guys, apparently have to move forward a little bit. I screwed that up. Probably just shoot these thunderers, and then these stormies with halberds get in here, and Snitch does this thing. Now that we have a massive life advantage on their lord, I feel a lot better just going straight in on him. If he wants to do the thing, we can do the thing. Alright, looks like we're going to wear him down pretty quickly. And also the rest of their units, that is also true of. I'll give him this. He is really just running straight forward into all of that gunfire. That's, you know, I don't know if it's fair to call it bravery, but that's a level of stupidity, at least, that you have to be impressed by. Alright, these Storm Vermin need to back up. Looks like we're okay, because they're all giving up. There we go. Alright. Battle over. The end. And look at that. We managed to not get anybody killed. How hard was that? Really? We almost lost as many people as they did. It's kind of wild, actually. I wonder if we could have won that with very few losses by just not having our melee participate at all. Because we managed to lay down a very impressive cover of ranged attacks. Like, have the only melee in there be the Hell Pit Abomination, and I guess the Doomflayers. Maybe. Now that Thorgrim Grudgebearer is dead, we're still in actually pretty bad shape. That Bretonnian army that's within a single turn's movement of Gorgazon is definitely an issue. We need them not to be there. And I'm debating whether I think it's the right move to just have both of the armies here abandon the city. Because I'd much rather lose the city and have to retake it than lose a stack at this point, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Let's grab Lightning Strike, even though I don't know if we'll actually need it.
I will not blight my soul.
So we could just have them step a little bit back out of Gorgazon. I guess it's important to remember that if Gorgazon goes down, we will lose replenishment on any unit or any army that is within the border.
I am a lord of Bretonnia. Never.
I will not.
Yeah, how do we deal with this guy?
My holy vow. No.
Icket Claw is not safe to just bail on Agril Migdal, right? We don't know what will happen if I do that. Belagar can't reach it in one turn. Walden can't reach it in one turn. I guess it doesn't really matter because I couldn't get over here anyway. Yeah. I don't know what we're going to do about this. Alright, what does his army actually look like? He's got a lot of good cavalry. And a fair amount of decent melee as well. Like, these guys are no slouches. So, Bilefitch's army looking like this, and Snitch's army looking like that. I'm a little worried about our ability to take those guys, frankly. What's the garrison in Gorgazon like? Okay, it's at full health at least. So we have a couple units of Skaven slaves and a couple units of clan rats to serve as tanks and cannon fodder, while Snitch's ranged units do the thing that they do. I don't know, man. I'm going to step back over here. I'm going to put us in ambush mode. We're going to attempt the ambush. Even a single turn of replenishment that doesn't get interrupted would be a huge victory for us. Here's a question. Would the Bretonnians be willing to take a temporary treaty? They would not. I was figuring if we could just trick them into feeling like they can't attack us for one turn, I have no problem with immediately backstabbing them. In fact, I think it's the most Skaven thing we could possibly do. Alright, do we want to yellow line? We could turn Infectique into a really great duelist, probably, with the points we have left. Yeah, let's go for it. And then this is probably not where you want to be in the long term. I guess, do we have any more dwarves sailing north? Maybe. I guess go back to Magritta, maybe. Because we want to be in a position... Or maybe Skaven Blight's the right spot, actually. Because we could just underway over to Carcassonne if the elves try to push the other shore. Just thinking we got to be ready to respond to a wide variety of different problems here, right? Alright, well, I guess we're going to have to do a march. Oh, interesting. You know what? We'll just go back into normal movement mode. If you want to come out here and fight me, you can come out here and fight me with your dinosaurs. With your oops, all dinosaurs army. And then Stunkritch is maybe going up against a full 20 stack? I mean, approximately. Not really. 16. And, like, dinosaurs are not useful during city defenses, really. Yeah, we could probably just roll up on these dudes and do the thing. Yep, and they're going to make me fight it manually, even though there's zero chance we could possibly lose this. So, the Ancient Stegodon at least has a ballista on its back. It will be able to participate, but these Croxigors are too large to get up on the wall, so they can't actually fight. This is going to be really easy. We are probably not going to have a lot of call for the Menace Below charges. Like, they're going to actually not do anything for probably any part of this battle. So I'm not going to bother spending more food on additional charges. All we have to do here is take the walls. Honestly, we probably want to break the gate as quickly as possible. So, like, waiting a turn and building a battering ram might actually not have been a bad idea. Because as soon as we break the gate, we can bring our guns to bear. Obviously, that means they can run their dinosaurs out into the field, but also, guns are better than dinosaurs. That's why you rarely see modern armies in the real world run dinosaur-based strats. Do we want to just kill a tower? I'm not wild about the kill a tower strategy. With only 2 catapult teams, it's going to take like 6 volleys or something. But if we don't do something like that, we're just going to get bombarded with tower fire for the entirety of the battle, which I don't want to happen, obviously. Alright, they don't really have any siege gear or anything. All we have to worry about is the tower damage. Alright. So we're just going to rush them. We're going to have you guys climb here, and you guys climb there. 3 more units up this wall. We are going to try destroying this tower. Just carve ourselves a little bit of a safe spot. They don't really have a lot of units in that box. Maybe I should try destroying this tower? And then we just take control of this one? That doesn't seem crazy. And then if we did that... And once we take the wall, they're going to have a hard time doing anything. Honestly, they're going to have a hard time doing anything anyway. No, let's destroy this tower. I'm trying to get a little ahead of myself. You go here. You guys just get closer. figure it all out once we're closer. I guess, actually, hold on. I can spread these guys out a little bit better by not having a melee unit selected at the same time. There we go. And we do have an Assault of Stone to drop maybe like here? I'm definitely more worried about dealing with their melee than I am with their range. Their ranged units are, their little skinks are really quite weak. They have an advantage of mobility, where a lot of times they can just harass your units while running away for long periods of time. But it doesn't work on the walls all that well, obviously. There's not really a lot of places to go. Are you still running? Okay, there's the caster. Doesn't actually seem to be getting any closer, so I assume we're... Nope, just decided not to follow orders, actually. When we gave the order to do the Assault of Stone, he just stopped moving. Not at all what I asked for. Alright, feel free to actually cast that at any moment here. There we go. Okay, so we didn't manage to do very much damage to this unit on the walls. We got a little bit done there. It was not great. Apparently I missed a unit of Stormies. Alright, I don't really want to destroy that tower. Seems a little wasteful when we could just move out of the zone here. Alright, and now is the time for spellcasting, I think. Well, soon will be the time for spellcasting. So here we are up against a very tough enemy that does not have any innate magical resistance. Means that we are going to get a lot more play out of some of our abilities than we usually do. Usually do against dwarves, obviously. Alright, Stormies are starting to get their thing done. As soon as we have a reasonable number of Storm Vermin up on the walls, we're going to have the Death Runners follow them up. I think this is an okay time to start pushing the ladders. In general, Lizardman units are pretty heavily armored, so the Weeping Blades effect will be very helpful here. That's a Saurus Scar Veteran. That's a pretty good, pretty powerful melee hero type unit. Hoping that we can get control of this tower relatively soon. They haven't run... Oh no, never mind. I was going to say they haven't run any of their really good melee units up onto the wall. But those are Temple Guards. Those are exactly the kind of units that I'm talking about. Looks to me like we could maybe do a plague up here without really impacting our own units too much. Right, like there's a spot right there where it's mostly enemies. These guys are stopped up right here fighting that Skate Priest. We can do some good damage and more importantly get some good morale damage off on these guys. Still not in control of that tower, huh? Also, the catapults are being very careful. Much more careful than they usually are, I feel like. Not necessarily a bad thing. We usually do a lot of friendly fire damage. Just make sure that the blessing remains. Want to keep our guys putting up that poison debuff for as much of the battle as possible. Storm Vermin are pretty good at fighting Lizardmen as far as Skaven units go. We didn't have to go through the really difficult early phase where you're trying to like do stuff with clan rats against Sauruses and just getting absolutely routed every single battle. Looks to me like we are going to be pretty okay here. I'm gonna... really hoping we... Okay, there, we took control of it. Really hoping we would take control of that tower before I tried to run Death Runners around to the other ladder areas. Okay, so this is just a matter of time now. Let's make sure that we are continuing to apply the blessing in places where... Maybe I should just use a plague instead. Yeah, I think we still have a good plague spot here. right there. This will be effective against the Temple Guards. It'll be somewhat less effective against that Saurus Scar Veteran. Spells are just less good against characters. Unless they are, like, specifically designed to be good against characters. Because the way Plague works is it's doing, like, an okay amount of damage to a very large number of targets. Against a Scar Veteran who probably has, like, 10,000 health. The several hundred points of damage the Plague is doing is not really going to feel like anything at all. We do need to make sure we get some Weeping Blades in on this guy, or we're never going to be able to kill him. He's too damn tough. So once we have control of these guys, they got a lot of, like, scary dinosaur stuff going on right here. I don't know exactly what my plan is. We could have the catapults just shoot at the door. Yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Right now they're not doing anything at all. A little worried about how much motion I'm seeing here. Okay, they're interpreting that as a melee attack order, apparently. Why don't you guys, like, step back here? Okay, we're starting to see him take some damage as the Death Runners get over on him. Trying to make sure that we are focusing the enemy lord with at least one of these units of Death Runners. Obviously, we still had to kill the other stuff up here, too. We do a little bit more careful with our Winds of Magic with this guy, because we don't have Arcane Conduits to work with, so our supply of Winds of Magic is pretty low. Alright, we have a lot of our troops up on the walls here. Do not want to go down just yet. Alright, I wonder if now we can order the catapults to attack the door without having them move. Looks like everybody's green. Green lines are a good sign. Put some guys around the door so that if a dinosaur does charge out, we are able to fight it immediately. Okay, there we go. His armor is getting shredded. He is now actually taking damage. So he's their lord, right? Once we get rid of this wizard and their lord, they don't have any characters left. Oh no, this is their lord down here, the red-crested skink chief. So they do still have one leadership aura, and they won't take the "we lost our lord" debuff just yet. Hopefully we can keep that guy on the wall just by, like, pressing him with bodies. Do not let him get away. Keep murdering him. You guys, get over here too. Everybody help corral him. How is it that everybody interpreted that attack order as get to the same side of him? They all decided they desperately needed to be west of him. Alright, this is going to go down pretty soon. I want to be sure we are ready to fire guns through the door at whatever we might be able to kill through the door. How much health does this guy have left? 472? We may or may not get him before he goes off the wall here. Alright, so that dinosaur in there is a real danger to us if it's allowed to get in melee, and we do not have... Against dinosaurs, I'd feel comfortable fighting some of our dinosaurs if we had more halberd storm vermin. Because we don't, I'm a little leery of it. Can you guys see him? It looks like it. They're just planting their feet to fire. Okay. How quickly is that doing damage? Actually, pretty quickly. And he doesn't seem to be reacting to it at all. I mean, I think we're gonna employ an abundance of caution where the dinosaurs are concerned. So let's maybe just fast forward the battle here for a minute. I would prefer not to do any melee combat against dinosaurs. Looks like the other one is standing too far out to the side for us to have a clean line of sight on him. Oh, no, never mind. He's actually there. You guys should also shoot at him, instead of looking to the side for no reason. Alright, once we got those two dinosaurs down, then I'm going to start moving our gunners in, which is going to necessitate people coming off the wall to block the Carnosaur. In fact, that might be a good use for some, a good use for a Menace Below charge. Or, we do have the dreaded 13th spell. Here, let's go back to normal speed. Let's do a Halberd, Stormvermin summon. Gotta get the gunners through here. I mean, these are the right guys for fighting a dinosaur. If any Skaven unit is the one to melee attack this, oof, boy, that's not going so well for them. Just poke him, stab him with the pointy parts. That's what the metal thing is for. You guys, are they doing it? They don't really seem to be doing it. Also, speaking of not doing it, are the gunners coming? Yeah, they're coming. They're just slow. Also, catapults shooting directly at the camera. You guys even hitting anything over here? Ah, you know what? You're doing fine. You're doing fine. Don't let me distract you. You know what's up. You know your job. So these halberd guys are going to start fading any second now. We'll see their health decrease very rapidly when they are starting to run out of summon time. When that happens, we'll throw in a Menace Below charge just to hold the ground until we finish moving in. I guess we could just go now. Okay, gun teams are in and could begin firing on the Carnosaur at any moment. Hey guys, there's a dinosaur over there that I ordered you to face. Perhaps you would like to shoot him many times. There we go. Alright, and now that we're all in here and on top of it, I think we should be okay-ish. Hold on, we're about to get charged by the dinosaur. Somebody want to maybe do something about this? Not ideal. All you change targets. Different dinosaur. That one's under control already. Get our caster over here for the moment. Here we can throw up a random Vermintide unit. You guys try to fall back. Actually, all of you guys try to fall back. Get some melee in on him and try to hold him in place that way. Carnosaur is gonna have to wait. Alright, that should be good enough. Quickly now, quickly. Okay, there we go. Guns on. We are definitely going to lose some Death Runners here. Where are you guys going? Hey, 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 hey. Focus. Alright, well now that we have melee troops committed on him already, there's not a lot of reason for us not to just absolutely mob him. Let's send our clan rats in to try to keep the Carnosaur occupied. There we go. It's finally letting me select this. Okay, it is terrified of all of the gunfire it is receiving. Seems like a reasonable response to being shot. You guys, hold on. You're maybe not needed over there just yet. Okay, permanently broken. Now turn on the Carnosaur. You know, they showed a level of tactical intelligence there that we rarely see from the AI. I feel like bringing the second dinosaur around to do a charge. All right, that's battle number 1 against this faction. We still are going to have to probably fight the other settlement just because they have so many dinosaurs. And I mean manually, obviously. Fight the other settlement because they have so many dinosaurs. But I'm not worried. Obviously, we will be fine. We're not going to lose the stacks over here. There is a little bit of a danger in that a victory in which we take enough losses could slow down the rate at which we get these units over to drive back Tlaqua, which is something of a priority because we have a totally undefended front down there in the very, very southern part of the map. we're just going to have to hope things go well here, because we really, really need to get back over to that. And in fact, we could probably have Stunkric's army go over there now, right? Yes, go ahead and occupy. We could let the Golden Tower be Vomic's problem. Vomic doesn't quite have the same dinosaur killing power, though. He doesn't have as many rattling guns. I don't know. I guess it's a decision we can wait until next turn to make. Very, very close to having Arcane Conduit. Very much looking forward to it. Let's get you developed, and then I guess we just have Vomic do... Oh no, Vomic moved already. Alright, Bilefitch is where Bilefitch needs to be. Remamute, let's go to the north. So we're going to have Queek head south. He's actually going to get where he's going remarkably quickly. He has a little bit of cleanup to do. Hadar is going to just very quickly take Volksgrad. Should be no problem at all.
Storm vermin, attend me!
And then we have to figure out what path we want our other army to take to get up here. Does he try to meet up with us in the mountains? Does Remamute just run east? Here, let's go this way.
Run, fools.
Probably what we're going to want to do here is... I was going to say make an underway move, but maybe the better move would be to have Hadar come around to Khazid Bordkarag and push in from there? I guess a lot's going to come down to how our enemies' armies are positioned in a turn or two when we're actually pushing in. Okay, engineering skill? Yeah.
No malice.
Okay, so those guys are set-ish. Fektik is where we want him to be. Snick did his thing already. Scheif. Yeah, Scheif did stuff this turn. He ran all the way from Wrecker's Point, so I guess we're pretty much good. You need to make it to Krakadrach. We need to know what is happening in Krakadrach. Alright, this is apparently all the distance you need to cover. Did he not try it? Okay, apparently he just doesn't quite have the movement range. I think that's what we're supposed to be getting from this. So Rel is not exhausted. But is it really worth picking off their heroes? It might be better to just mess with their armies. Actually, I'm going to have him run over here. It is better to mess with their armies, but the dangerous armies are going to be all the way over on this side. You are too exhausted to assault an army. Well, guess come over here. Prepare to get even deeper scouting intel.
Ready to kill.
So that was Murta, and then Staden. Just going to have a couple of Skaven agents constantly harassing these armies. And or garrisons. Alright, know your place, and that's the last tack. Yep. In Eastern Oblast, we don't really have anything interesting to do. Karak Ungor definitely needs to upgrade its gold mine. Also, it needs to build a bell. May as well finish the walls here, even though they're probably not terribly important. Etc. We gotta rebuild. And bells. Bells are very useful. Every rat loves a bell. So Drakenhof is a more valuable region. Or the Eastern Sylvania, rather. It's a more valuable region. Let's make sure we're spending gold. Getting the upgrades we need to get here first. Okay, now we can do some of this. Should probably get that rice bog up. We could still make it to a better place on food. To a better place outside of the very bottom part of the meter. It could happen. We are really spending a tremendous amount of food per turn on our settlements, though. We might have passed the point in the game where it's really feasible to maintain a good food supply. Because, man oh man, are we paying a lot of food per turn just on settlement maintenance. And that number's only going to go up, right? We are successfully conquering, and pretty aggressively, in fact. Not only is that number going up, it's going up really quickly. And the best case scenario for us is that it continues to go up. I don't know what the hell you guys are doing, but you are definitely about to get killed by lizardmen. To be perfectly honest with you, though, like it's not like Nagarond was ever going to be able to defeat the enemies that they're fighting here. So if all they do is draw the lizardman armies off for like a couple of turns while they get slaughtered, that's probably fine. That's probably the most we could reasonably expect from them as allies. It might be the case that the number one greatest disappointment of the AI, the greatest loss of fun of the AI being competent, is that you can't really work with your allies in a very effective way. Obviously, it would be cool to be fighting enemies that were a little bit more strategically aware as well. But it would just, like, it's so much fun on the rare occasions when you do get to really work with one of the AI players and they're doing things that feel like they make sense. It is so cool, and if especially if they're a different faction and you end up getting to fight like some cool mixed faction battles, that can be a really neat experience. Absolutely not, never. Although I suppose at this point it couldn't really hurt to take a military alliance with them because they're already at war. We are both already at war with everybody. Alright, are they going to attack? Mogan the Devoted, do you want this? He wanders right into the ambush. This is a pretty important battle. And Bretonnians are not nearly as hardy, either physically or emotionally, as dwarves. So not only are we going to chop them up a little bit more effectively, but it's possible we'll be able to force an earlier surrender. One thing we do have to watch out for is this guy right here. This unit is not a real combat unit. It is basically just an effigy of a Great Knight that they carry around, except that it's actually made out of the Great Knight. It's a long story. But the long and the short of it is, this little dude right here is going to keep their units feeling like they can win the battle. I don't know how this has that effect. So we might want to put some effort into blowing up the Grail Reliquae before we put too much effort into everybody else. Alright, let's see here. How do we want to deploy? Obviously, these flying guys are a pretty early priority. So we're probably going to want to put the guns on this side. I think we have a better shot on all of their other horses from over here. So we could, we do this, right? Take advantage of that hill just a little bit. We probably want to be closer than that. That's okay. That's alright. And then obviously we need to use some halberd storm vermin to fight their knights. We are probably going to lose a bunch of melee here, but I don't think there's a version of this fight where we win without losing a bunch of melee, unfortunately. It's alright. All we need to do is hold out. So we have the Doom Flayers back here. I think we want to put the Hell Pit Abomination up here a little bit more than usual. Because these guys are pretty anti-infantry. They have armor piercing, but they don't have any anti-large, which is the thing we're usually afraid of happening to our Hell Pit. Alright, and what's the story with their lord? It's just like a random guy on a horse, not anything particularly special. Like I'm saying, I'm hoping that we're going to be able to just inflict a huge amount of morale damage on these guys and kill them really quickly in that way. I guess, actually, let's have one Doomflayer back here, but the other Doomflayers need to be up here to harass the ranged a little bit more effectively, and then maybe they can help with the Grail Reliquae. Alright, so, initial targeting. First of all, you guys killing flyers. Have our halberds. Run in, chasing knights. Hopefully we can get them down. You guys need to kill archers as quickly as possible. The Grailed Reliquary has to be a little bit of a priority, but we can't really afford to devote things to it too much. Do I want to have the flamethrowers try to just kill their lord quickly? I mean, we're going to get hit by him, right? I have not left us a way of defending against him, really. My hope is that we can just tank some hits, and it'll be okay. You guys do lots of explosive damage, armor piercing. There's the poisoned wind effect. I couldn't remember if we had given them like anti-large or something from the from all the upgrades that we bought them. I think I am going to have these guys focus on the Lord, actually. It's a little bit of a change of plans. Not exactly what I was intending when we set up like this. Then you need to roll through the one Treb crew into the other Treb crew. And we have reinforcements coming in, but they're going to be so weak that it probably won't matter very much. That's a huge amount of gunfire. Please let some of that actually do something.
My blade slice awaits.
Okay, can't help but notice that about half of my units have decided to shoot other people. I mean, it's fine, actually. Melee attack down isn't really going to accomplish a whole lot here. I may as well use it. Let's try to keep these guys rolling on somebody. You know what? Whole army, guard mode off. Usually I want guard mode on, but here we got to make sure that people are actually keeping up with their targets. This is a time when it would be really bad for us not to guard mode effectively. The Hell Pit Abomination and all the ranged units are doing fine work. Where's their lord? That's bad. Those are guys that are charging. These peasant mob units are not a real threat to my my globadiers, I don't think. These globadiers probably have to turn around and get those knights immediately. You guys need to... Here's their lord. He's gonna fight my Hell Pit Abomination. He might win that, honestly. That might not go that well for us. If he's a Lance Knight, and it's entirely possible that he is. He's probably pretty good against large units, actually. Let's see. You guys need to ignore those dudes. I guess just charge some knights over here. You two stay on that. You two stay on that. I'm going to put these guys back in guard mode. And we summon rats over here. Let's just try to, break this up as quickly as possible. Alright, yeah, shoot at those guys. Shoot it just like anybody. Anybody who happens to be nearby. Right, you'll not have to stay in. We need the Doom Flayers to help with this kind of stuff. Actually, one of these Doom Flayers needs to get over there. Alright, we're having units die, but as long as we win this battle, and we don't necessarily have to win it by very much. Is their lord... Oh, that's the Grailed Reliquary. Oh, here's their lord. Seems like it maybe doesn't matter. I think yeah, we got him. Alright, that was a little bit more costly. We definitely lost some stuff there. So that's one unit of Halberd Storm Vermin, but actually that looks like it might be it. And we are going to get actual real replenishment this turn. Even Bilefitch. So I am very hopeful that we'll be able to stand against anything else that might come in next turn. It is entirely possible that we have solidified our position, that we will now be able to hold. Especially if we can keep the enemy at bay until the defensive structures get up. And if that's the case, if Gorgazon is now like a stable beachhead where we also have recruitment buildings available and we can put together new armies and replace losses properly, I think that's going to make it very difficult for our enemies to defeat us. So yeah, we did lose one unit. That's really not that bad. Also, man, those guys really know how to retreat. So that was a very impressive retreat. Biofitch Stab is the savior now. He's constantly reinforcing. I don't know that he's ever actually saved anyone, but he sure does show up eventually. So it's looking to me like maybe this coming turn is going to be the end of that Lizardman faction down there. Them abandoning the settlement, I think that's something that's going to haunt them for the brief time that they are around to regret it after we take that settlement from them. So I believe we're going to be able to drop them down to 0 controlled settlements here, which means their armies will starve out rapidly. Alright, Nordland has rebelled, which is not really a concern. Just go ahead and knock that out real fast. And with this, I think we have our territory mostly under control again. But we've been chasing rebellions around for like a really long time, but now I think it's settled, maybe? We'll take a look. We'll take a look at our numbers, all of our public order statements at the end of the turn here. Alright, jump me down to Vomit. Let's resolve this southeastern area next. So obviously, now that that army has abandoned the settlement, this is a completely trivial take. It kind of was either way, right? Okay, so all they have left is the Golden Tower. They have one army running toward it. They're not pressuring us at the Lost Plateau. So maybe we don't need to have some Stunkrich fall back? No, I'm just going to go for the Golden Tower. They have half an army and it's tired. Let's just crush them. It looks like that's a single turn movement. Apparently not. Alright, well, step back a little bit so if the army wants to come out and fight you, they don't get to use the settlement garrison. And I guess that's a thing we resolve next turn. How annoying. Okay, 3 turns until Igral Migdal is relatively stable. We definitely want to get this upgrade. Gorgazan needs an upgrade. Gorgazan also needs to begin constructing defenses. And then Igral Migdal doesn't really have anything else to do that's like super pressing. Yeah. Build a bell. Build a Pox Cauldron. I don't think that really helps. The special units with the poisons version of the slingers require a pestilent knave, not a Pox Cauldron, so we couldn't even enable any more unit constructions here. I guess it really is just build a rubbish pit. We don't need the bell. Rubbish pit caps out at 160, this caps out at 100 income, so yeah. That's what we do, alright. Oh, Stitch leveled up off of that fight. That makes sense. Let's get Renowned and Feared. And then the Bretonnians have fled quite far away. Probably too far away for us to chase them.
Warlock, master of
Yeah, I don't want to end up outside of our territory, even though we could finish that army off. I'm just not afraid of them enough to feel like we gotta take risks for it. Stitch, just go into ambush mode, catch anybody coming in if you can. I guess maybe we should recruit him a new unit, since he lost some units. But I would really want it to be another Storm Vermin, so no, we won't worry about it for right now. Do we have anything in the... We don't have anything in the Regiments of Renown pool. We've been doing a good job keeping our Regiments of Renown alive. So Biofitch probably has to sit for another turn. Alright, up here. Remamute goes to Khazid Bord Karag. I think that's pretty obvious. And then I think we actually are going to have Hadar wrap around to that way too. We can move that direction pretty quickly. I'm a little leery of underway moving toward enemies, because of course the underway interceptions are always possible. I don't really know what to do here. Oh right, this is just the pit. We don't actually need that. Hold on, we'll worry about money later. So Biofitch is good, Remomutant and Hadar are good, Infectique is... yeah, just about where he needs to be. I guess it is slightly better for him to be sitting in ambush mode outside the city. And then Snake did his thing. Did we move Queek yet? No, Queek needs to make some distance. So yeah, we can take Needling first and then get Forchikova on the way back, I think. Scheif has done his stuff already, so... Upside should probably... here, we can have this spy actually move around to Krakadrak, just to make sure we're not missing any armies that are, like, out on the ice for some reason or whatever. Okay, looks pretty safe. In that case, assault units. Or, you know, just do your best, just try to assault units. You know, I don't want you beating yourself up if you fail this very easy task that anyone else could definitely have gotten through. Alright, we're also going to harass everybody down here. Nope. We're also not going to harass anybody down here.
Ready to kill.
You should probably get a little bit deeper. Basically, I want to know what's going on in the dwarf lands maybe a little bit more. Wow, that's a lot of... it's a lot of dwarf.
Kill their scouts.
Cannot assault any of them, ever. Down here in the Temple of Skulls, we could build an arcane generator, and so we do. Sure, we may as well cap out Myrmidons, why not? God, we have a lot of territory now. It's just like, it's a lot to administer, you know? Down in Kislev, we're about to have some problems. It does get tough to maintain public order when everything around you is constantly on fire. So I get why they're upset. Okay, so we have 4 settlements left on Kislev, 1 settlement left on those little blue lizards. We are actually pretty close to being able to focus our entire military might on that southern front. Once we do that, I have to imagine the whole desert's going to fall pretty quickly. I guess maybe I'm overestimating our strength a little bit. We are going to have to deal with the dwarves, who are almost as powerful as we are, and multiple other enemies at the same time. And I think our first priority has to remain eliminating as many of the smaller players as possible. Like, if we could formally finish off Sudenburg, that would definitely be to our benefit. Because again, remember, each AI player that's in the game is one more instance of that free AI player bonus money. You know, honestly, I wonder, if we were to just let this go for an infinite number of turns, would this situation in the jungle here ever resolve? Or would it just constantly be people trying and failing to hunt down, Interesting. I guess our ambush didn't work. Would it just endlessly be people trying and failing to hunt down Clan Pestilence? So we may as well bring in all the Menace Below charges. We're going to lose all the food at the beginning of our turn anyway. We should absolutely be able to win this. This should not be a big problem. So we'll probably have Vermix the Corrupted play very far back to give Ikit time to show up. I was really figuring that, you know, Belagar Ironhammer would fall into our ambush, since he had to walk through the ambush to get to Agro Migdal, but apparently it's not going to be quite that easy for me. Alright, so they have some functional siege stuff. Yeah, we probably want to just play back, right? We want to try to buy time. We have fought a version of this battle several times. The big difference here is that we're actually playing for something other than a little bit of spite. We're buying time for a thing that's actually going to matter a lot. So let's do a good job. There we go. Alright, we'll just flank around them, see if we can draw off some troops. I mean, it would be really cool, don't get me wrong, if we were able to kill some of that siege gear. But I am not under the impression that it is likely that these units will get anything done. Wow, that was a really good shot. I'm a little concerned about the effectiveness of these ranged weapons. They seem to be quite good. Well, it looks like they're defending this stuff less than usual. Like we wanna bring in a menace below charge, right? They're gonna give us this much room to do this thing. And then over here, it's really taken a long time for Icky Claw's units to show up. At some point, there's gonna be like catapults and stuff, you know? Eventually. Wow, this guy's just gave up already? Okay, Icky Claw's army continues to emerge onto the scene as slowly as humanly possible. Well, as slowly as Skavenly possible. Remember, it does not matter at all what happens to these units. These garrison units, because they will regenerate for free whenever we feel like they should regenerate. We don't need to try to preserve their numbers or anything. They are absolutely cannon fodder to protect Icky Claw's army. So, let's pull you guys out to here. Let's move the Warplock Jezzails up. This is like a little bit of a raised... it's not as raised as I would like. We might be able to do some shooting from up here. And then... also have a Rattling Gun. Let's maybe move the Rattling Gun in like here. And then... the unit that we're telling to, like these units, we'll just have them wing out so that we have a little gap to fire through. Okay, catapult crew's getting pretty torn up thanks to the gutter runners drawing off a lot of fire. Okay, there we go. I was going to say, does Icky Claw actually not have catapults? I didn't think that was right. Let's try to get you guys in on those dudes. Obviously, it's pretty important that we bring down the... flying units quickly. Oh, right, he doesn't have overcast capabilities. Let's go for some Warp Lightning right in here. Apparently we're not going to have to tell those units to open a path. They're just going to open it naturally through cowardice. Yeah, well, it's kind of incredible how bad these units all are at fighting. Alright, let's have these more developed units. These are actually the good units, the Icky Claw units coming in here. Have these guys fight this way a little bit more, maybe? What do we have over here? This is Rattling Guns who are supposed to be over there already. I don't know how it has been so difficult for them to move. I'm gonna have my Jezzails stop what they're doing right now and just turn on the gyrocopters. And then over here, we need to figure out exactly what these units are doing. I guess they're probably just charging, honestly. Like, we have an exposed flank here, we may as well make use of it. We'll get into melee with the enemy now. Let's have them run out here. Okay, that didn't take very long. The gyrocopters are already dead. spears, absolute cowards. It's this Warlock Engineer to tank for a moment. That was pretty well timed. That was maybe less well timed. Never mind. They turned around and went back into it. And remember to turn off guard mode on some of my units. Some of you should absolutely be guarding. Okay. There we go. We're getting it done eventually. Let's have you guys back out. We don't need to be in there taking all that damage. Have you guys back out. Those Longbeards have not done damage very quickly to the Warp Fire Throwers, though. You know, we're surviving. It looks like we've mostly been successful on this front. By the time the enemy units from the back of the battlefield get up here and like actually start participating, the whole battle's going to be over. That guy's just on foot, so we can throw some more units at him. Pretty classic move there on my part. Summon units immediately into some friendly fire. Elot can just back up now. All we're doing is just knocking him off his feet over and over again. Not let him do stuff. Okay, apparently there's still one catapult that is functional. We should maybe do something about this. I don't know, we've done a pretty good job of distracting them. I guess we're just waiting for the waiting for this to be available. Although, if we put them on the catapult, they're just going to get shot to death by these rifles. So I guess let's put them on the rifles. Alright, don't let that guy do stuff. So their lord's about dead. Once he goes down, we've got this basically under control. Giant Slayers are, no, those are Longbeards. Those Longbeards are real tough, but Flamethrowers ought to solve this problem as our units break and run away. Okay, let's have you charge there, have the Doom Wheel charge, the Thunderers over here. And then as soon as those charges get deep enough to actually, well, never mind. We gotta use the Menace Below charge to buy room for the charges instead of the other way around. Alright, it looks like this is over. Your lord is dead. They should surrender pretty much immediately. They won't, because dwarves. Actually, you know what? Just you guys. These dudes are probably best off continuing to push over here. And then I'm a little leery of committing too much additional melee, just because I would really love it if this was, if we limited casualties from here. So those guys broke. I think everybody's breaking. Who is not... Who is still up? Who still fights? Nobody. Nobody. The battle's totally over. Alright, that was not as clean as I maybe would have liked. Definitely closer than I maybe would have liked. Did we... I don't get to see my actual army. I don't think we lost any units. We definitely took some damage in some places. But I think that should be a pretty convincing repel of Belagar Ironhammer. Which means, I bet, the walls around Agro-Migdal are going to go up now. I don't think they had enough pressure in that area to take advantage of the opening here. So if we do manage to get those up, and we manage to also either help our allies take that one pyramid castle just west of the city that the Dark Elves took over, or we manage to take it ourselves, I think we're going to be able to really focus up. Like, we're not going to have to defend quite so much border anymore. Yeah, okay, we managed to not take any real damage there.
Spare us. Yes, yes.
Let's just add some food. Because remember, the choice we're making here is for the garrison, not for Ikit Claw's army, so the replenishment probably wouldn't be terribly meaningful. God, that's a lot of dwarves. There's still so many of them. We gained an engineering student. Probably not that useful, actually. Oh, man, yeah, they are really laying the pressure on. Well, like I said, we're getting a pretty serious amount of replenishment on Snitch and Bilemaster, Bilefitch. Bilemaster. That's maybe even a little too Skaven for a name. Okay, I don't know what you guys think you're doing, but I'll take it. Doing a good job luring the enemy into Bilefitch's very weak army. God, this is a huge number of enemy stacks. Interesting. Probably this is a thing we could just take the auto-resolve on, but honestly, I'm not sure with that balance of power bar like it is. So we should probably do it manually, which means we should probably do it next episode. I think this is where we're going to have to call it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. The campaigns never go quite as fast as I think they will, right? I thought we were going to be done with both these guys and Kislev by, like, last episode. Whatever. It's still, you know, it's going successfully. It's just success in slow motion. It gives us more time to savor the victories. So come back next time for more of that. And we'll see you then.